In a world where two friends decided to watch movies from their youth, then decided to start a podcast about it, we present to you the Movie Test of Time. A podcast about the only medium that matters, the movies. Presenting your hosts, America's sweetheart, Beth Martin, and Irish ruffian, Andy Young. Hello, that's us, your youthful and meandering hosts. This week looking at Stand By Me. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
I had this moment where I was like, did I even watch the right movie? Because we're kicking around a lot of different ones, and we added some, and so I was like, oh fuck, what if I...
Did you watch the right movie?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So you said your words, and I was like, oh good. I connect that to what we watched. I'm good. We had to skip last week, so we haven't seen each other in a couple weeks. Because I went back to the land of Oregon and did the Oregon Trail tour. Basically, it makes me happy that everyone on the planet basically has played the Oregon Trail game and has died of cholera or dysentery or oxen, drowned in the river. But where my family lives is actually the end of the Oregon Trail. In this land called Oregon City. Very clever. Spent a lot of time there. Saw all the things. It was a great trip. And, it's just kind of like my old life versus my new life. Yeah. And those are always, it's easier and easier to kind of reconcile those two things, which feels good. And I was just like happy to be there and it felt good. Also, it just like I was telling you before we pressed record, like it's just it's a pretty time of year there, so I noticed like all the beauty, and my super cool 16-year-old nephew is now listening to the pod, and he and his friends are going to send he's already sent some recommendations, and we're getting the kids, the youngins are listening to us now, so we've got to be hip and cool and all those things. But I just want to say, hey, Isaac, I love you and thank you for listening. So,
yes, thank you. Amazing. This movie, if I'm correct, set in Oregon as well.
It actually is. Yeah, the way they're like, it's like Portland, Oregon, in this town called Castle Rock, which is actually in Maine. So like, there's Portland, Maine, and Portland, Oregon. And I noticed that Stephen King, who wrote this short story that they base this movie on, is like, he plays those two sides.
Yeah. Yes. Like, because he has a few different, like, places, like fictional places that crop up again and again, doesn't he? Yeah.
And they're mostly in Maine, where I think he lived. So,
yeah.
But this actually was filmed in Oregon. And I know that because I was just in the airport, and, like, they have this whole wall of like movies that were filmed there, and it's on there, and I was like, yeah. So.
That rocks. Yeah, that makes sense. Because like they mention it, and I was like, unbelievable. I know. Another pro Oregon movie by Beth. Great, just sneaking them in. Where's the Northern Irish movies? Is what I want to say. Anyway.
You got Game of Thrones. Shut up, Andy.
That's true. We do have a Game of Thrones. That's good. Fine.
How are you?
So. Not too bad. Since last I saw you, so I had, it was my aunt's birthday, so we all took her out to, you may have seen the pictures on social media. Like, a very rare post from my account, only because my sister did it and, like, co-authored one with me, and I was like, okay. So, it's so interesting to me, and I kind of, like, it was kind of fascinating for me to take stock of it, because the place that we were in was called Ballygally Castle.
Ballygally.
Hotel. It's basically been turned into a hotel, right? And there's it's got a lot of stuff from the original castle itself. So there's like little sort of like, the kind of arrow slits and things like that have been like
crosses,
glazed and stuff.
Or like crossbow ones. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But there's also a tower in the corner, and basically it is haunted.
Oh, good.
And you can go up there, and you can go up there, and there's a whole history of the haunting and of people staying in it and having encounters and what they were like and things like that, and who the ghost might be. And it really did make me think about, the experience of this country where you're kind of like, oh yeah, there's a ghost upstairs, and people are like, and like, people like from America or from Australia are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is a castle that has been turned into a hotel, and there's a ghost in it. It's like, yeah. And you're having afternoon tea there, and it's like, yes, we are. That's all of those things are correct,
I
it was lovely.
It's the fact that you believe it. It's like so much of what we do here in this country is like try and like dispel and disbelieve. Unless you're a certain group of people that I'm not going to get into, but like, it's like, oh, this is haunted, and like find everything out and put it on a TV show and monitor it with your ghost monitors, and like, you guys are just like, no, it's a ghost, and we're having tea, and it's here,
and it's fine.
And the fairies are there, and we're like that story that you told about how like you guys were building a freeway and you like rerouted it because there was a fairy forest there.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, we would like dig up bodies and move them to build a freeway.
Yeah.
And it's happened.
100%.
Yeah, so I love that about your country.
It's definitely nicer, we have, it's like, I'm not touching on it too much, but like the kind of, the whimsical, lovely side of my country, and also over the past couple of weeks, there has been the dark side of my country as well. When they essentially went in a pogrom,
Well, no, like, because we're coming over with the family in a month, I'm getting texts from you, and you're like, the news isn't that bad, whatever they're saying, and I was like, oh gosh. Yeah. So I mean,
people from other countries kind of going, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like, I unfortunately, I'm kind of like, I've become not emboldened, but like I'm just kind of like, it's whatever for me now. Like, it's just kind of
desensitized.
This country does this sometimes, then it's always a bummer. Yeah. But like, one of the things I did want to say about it was that like basically it tends to be like it's all along racial lines. No matter what anybody says, it absolutely is, and it's kind of heartbreaking. But it is only a very small minority. But like, because this is the sort of thing that gets reported on, you have people around the world going, "Are you okay? I see crazy shit happening there." There was a anti-racism sort of march or meeting that gathered like thousands and thousands and thousands of people, way more than the people that were rioting. But because that's not as newsworthy, it wasn't kind of spread around the world. So like, it really kind of I was really very happy to see that. I couldn't actually leave my town that day because not for bad kind of for bad reasons. The pageant was this weekend, and a King Billy impersonator was arriving in Carrickfergus,
and everyone like
so the whole town was shut down.
This is so great.
So obviously I was there front and center because like I wanted to get his autograph and stuff.
The King Billy impersonator. I'm so
no. Yeah, you're so
jealous. I'm so jealous.
I did not go down. No, I did not go down. So that's, I know. What sort of Ulsterman am I exactly? But yeah, so Beth, I think the other thing we have to talk about is the elephant in the room, or perhaps the green and yellow striped tiger in the room.
Cringer.
And we need to talk about Masters of the Universe. And your
yes.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it, because I might be in a very different position than you. So what did you think of it?
I fucking loved it. I loved it. Granted, I was there with a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Yes.
So that
probably
totally, yeah. I thought it was great. I was just like, I love the retro music. I appreciated, the harkening back where like you would be like, there would be a scene and you would be like, oh my, that was from the intro of the show. Like, I remember that. And, I mean, other than Jared Leto, it was like a fabulous film.
Yeah. And like, you can get away with not even knowing he's involved.
I
really,
looked after,
you know?
and then I was like, oh, yeah, we
that sucks,
can't see his face anymore because he's on his anyways.
I watched Tron Ares recently, and it was a tough movie to watch. It was like, I think I kind of wish I'd seen it in the cinema because it was beautiful looking, and the soundtrack, because this is a Nine Inch Nails soundtrack, that was doing so much heavy lifting for getting me through that film. But like and actually, he's quite good in it, which is also kind of quite upsetting. I think Greta Lee is just, I don't know what she's doing in there. Like, she just doesn't make sense in that movie. But like, it just is such a kind of like nothing burger of a movie. But again, like him being front and center in that is just like yikes. So I think I had I don't know, opposite experience, but I think I was kind of like, I was into some of Masters of the Universe, but like I think when it started off, I was like, okay, and then it just kind of really lost me a bit, and I thought it was a bit all over the place. I really wanted to like it a lot more than I did. But yeah,
I liked that, like, they made his character younger than he seemed in the show. I feel, and like, you know, like you could see he was ripped under his pink shirt. They tried to make him look like a schlumpy, but like, you can't go from schlumpy to Master of the Universe, or He-Man, and like, the reason that the characters are named what they are is because like he was a kid making drawings and trying to remember like the names, and it's like, they made it more kid-friendly, I think, than the actual, like, cartoon that we watched when we were kids. And then, I had moments where, like, at the very end, I was like, please come out as Battle Cat. Please come back out. And, like, at the very end, like, he's riding Battle Cat. So for those who don't know, Battle Cat and Cringer are the same, but Battle Cat wears armor, hence the name Battle Cat. So...
And Cringer, believe it or not, is something of a card. If you can imagine.
I know, with a name like Cringer. So,
So no, that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Your camera, I think it's just because your new computer. Your camera is doing all sorts of work. It's like scanning around. Whenever you move, it's like following you and stuff like that. Zooming out, zooming in.
That sucks. Okay, I'm gonna.
It's fine. No, it's completely fine. I'm just letting you know.
So I got everyone. I got a new computer. But yeah, it's doing all these.
Dynamically tracking you, I think.
It's like just taking
Stop dynamically tracking Beth.
My face.
Come on.
All right, I'm not going to worry about fixing it right now.
Don't worry about it for now. No, it's completely fine.
I'm sorry. You were not on drugs. It is my camera.
That's more's the pay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so do you have any? Do you have any more what's a crack, or should we move on to what's occurring?
We can move on to what's occurring. So, let's see. This is a jab at you. Someone said just catching up on Bringing Out the Dead. Andy is named after the artist formerly known as Prince Andrew.
Yeah. I've told you my thoughts on this, right?
No.
Okay, so I have my position on this is clear. Is look, the good name Prince Andrew has been dragged through the mud by this current guy. Yeah. I am happy to take that over. I'm happy to become the new Prince Andrew. Okay. Do royal duties and shit. Okay. Like some of them, I don't want to do them all, but I'll do like some of it. All I ask is maybe like 1/8 of what he gets paid every year.
Yeah. Right.
And if I get that, I mean, like, I'm like, I'll be like a younger, more hip. Prince Andrew, I mean, younger than him, certainly. Anyway.
Are you gonna like get into polo and fox hunting?
No, okay. No. I'm not interested in either of those things.
You'd stay back.
I'm going to do exactly what I do as always, with a few appearances here and there, and then that's about it. I just kind of want the money, really, at the end of the day.
And the grip and grin.
Because we have like, there's a Prince Andrew Drive and a Prince Andrew Way in Carrickfergus. Yeah.
Still.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that rocks, right?
Well, yeah, it makes me grateful for, like, Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, which every city has.
That's true.
And Cesar Chavez Way, which every city has, pretty much. Except for,
I have, I suppose, a bit of what's occurring, because one of our listeners, I was having a conversation with him, and he asked if we could do more cheerful movies.
I hear ya.
Because
I hear ya.
Because like, you know, leaving Las Vegas and also like Bring Out the Dead.
I hear ya.
And also even you know, Wild at Heart and things like that. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I mean, as we get into the summer,
Yeah.
I don't know if we've picked anything for. I mean, we know we're doing Broadly next month. Are we? Do we have? I don't know if we've got anything for afterwards. Maybe we like do like a summer blockbuster season after our summer movies season.
Yeah, or just like comedies.
Yeah.
We could even do like throw some stand up in there. Although, yeah,
interesting.
I don't know.
Let's yeah, we can figure that out.
That's a fine line, but yeah, no, that's a good suggestion.
Yes.
Okay,
Do you have any more
I do. So I think this message also went to you, but this is a yay, Andy. So,
okay.
So we were talking about the Tree of Life and Terrence Malick month, which again, we're sorry that we chose to do a director all month long. We'll never do that to you guys again.
I mean, we
might.
But like, are we?
Whatever we say, don't believe us or do.
I would say that if we do it again, it probably will. Like, you know, for better or for worse, Terrence Malick, a lot of his films have a very familiar tone. A very like his like filmmaking language is very similar throughout, despite the subject matter change. Whereas I think other directors, including the director we're doing today.
Yes.
I think has a ton of movies that are quite different. So, you know, depends on the director, but I don't think anything like that will maybe avoid in the future.
I just think we challenged ourselves too much.
Yes, 100%. But, you know, I'm so glad that I finally got an opportunity to watch some Terrence Malick movies, you know.
Anyways, so you were talking about how, like, okay, oh man, so this is Top Fan. Oh man, the explanation of your mate playing a video game, looking at a tree for 20 minutes, being the biggest Terrence Malick fan you know was top bants. I'm assuming bants means banter.
Yeah.
That was a legit payoff for months of engagement with your podcast, like a spectacular moment of fan service. That was my saw you're shooting Tom for taking Walt off the raft moment, which I don't know what that is. I think... So, yeah, I think there's a response. I just haven't checked the inbox, but...
That rocks.
Yeah. I think it's a Lost reference, and I never watched Lost, guys. Sorry.
I think it is a Lost reference as well, but I barely remember Lost. I just know some of those names. Sounds familiar to me with Lost.
I was like, are they talking about, like, Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer?
Yeah.
What? Anyways, so that's what I've got for what's occurring. Amazing. So yeah, guys, send ideas, send thoughts.
Please.
Because we'll read what you. Well, we are here for you.
We are absolutely here for you. Okay, so we move on to our subject for the week, which is the movie Stand By Me, and the first movie in our summer movies series. You know, movies that just kind of like epitomize summer, I think, in a lot of ways. We've got some fun ones coming up. I'm so excited for next week's. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
No.
We're looking at Stand By Me.
Yeah, let's be sad one more week. Ha ha!
Yeah. I mean, you know, this isn't all sad. I think this is what, like, you know, wistful, I guess, and, like, nostalgic. But again, it has some funny moments as well.
Yeah. Lardass.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's definitely... when Stephen King decides to write not terrifying horror, which I'm not saying like he's not literally like the best at, because he is. I just generally like his writing, all of it. And this, I love his short stories. And I love The Eyes of the Dragon. That's like my favorite fantasy book ever. So I would just, it's so nice to get that other side of him and to, you know, I'm sure this is like, I know this is semi-autobiographical. So it's just nice to kind of get a sense of like what his childhood was like. And of course he's Stephen King, so it's got to be like, there has to be something in there that's a little terrifying. Dead bodies of a child, a dead child. So, but he as you're saying, like he does a really good job of kind of like that reminiscing, you know, days of yore kind of thing. So, and the cast is great.
Yeah, it is an absolutely fantastic cast, and like, you know, people who went on to like incredible things across the board, essentially. Like, and I mean, there's so many people that just pop up who just like, whoa, because you know, I don't know about you, but it had been a long time since I'd seen this movie, and like, even like the John Cusack, you know, popping up as his.
I totally forgot. I was like, oh my god, it's like young John Cusack.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland, things like that. You know, yeah, really fascinating. It really is. Okay,
Richard Dreyfuss as the narrator.
Yes, I know. This is, I famously chill dude, Richard Dreyfuss. I'm gonna check how old he was when this was made, because he's like one of these guys who just seems like be permanently an adult.
Yes.
Like, you know, from probably about like 20, he looked like a 40-year-old man.
Yes.
Stayed that way for like.
I'm curious how old he was when he filmed Jaws too. Because like he looked older.
He's not that old now.
No, okay, he looked
He's
older.
not that old
in
at
this.
all.
And like I had a friend that was like, "Do you ever see the movie Mr. Holland's Opus?"
I haven't seen it, but I know of that movie.
It's also filmed in Portland. But one of my friends was, she played the violin, and she was like one of the violinists that was in the orchestra, and he was old in that.
Yes. So he's 32 in Jaws.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
32. Okay. But so he was, you know, 41 in this movie, I guess, which is, that feels like, you know, a good era for him. That feels like the era he kind of settles into, you know.
Yeah, I love, like, his voice is comforting to me. I know he is vocal about things these days.
Yes.
So, but, you know, again, if we're harkening back.
He was apparently never really a super kind of chill presence to have in your set.
No.
Historically, throughout his entire career.
Like, I remember hearing some stories about What About Bob? I also, I thought it was interesting just the amount of smoking references there were.
Yeah.
And, like, the kids are obviously picking up on, like, you know, parental influence, but they're just like, there's nothing like smoking after dinner. Smoke after a meal is the best. And I've never had that thought in my life. So it's just like...
No, exactly. It feels like a very kind of kid thing to say, like, you know, in a fucked up way, a very kind of kid thing to say. Yeah. Like them, you know, whenever they first moved the treehouse and them just like sitting around smoking cigarettes like rabidly, it was interesting. Yeah. I actually wrote down that, like, in the same way that leaving like Las Vegas made me reconsider drinking, Stand By Me is making me reconsider smoking. So I think I'm taking all the wrong messages from these guys, but you know, it's fine.
You just don't like excess.
It's fine. I don't like excess, this is true. Just a little bit of smoking, a little bit of drinking as a treat.
Yeah. I also just like jotting fun notes down. I was like, it's like idyllic, but like not at all.
Yes.
And I don't know how you make that, but both Rob Reiner and Stephen King sure did.
I think there's something... I think that's a really kind of unique skill set, and certainly some directors have it, some writers have it, you know, where you've kind of got that balance. And I think, you know... Because I think like a straightforward kind of like story in this vein would have been just a bit more dry and like not as... Whereas like kind of like all the kind of elements I kind of like that balancing act of making them all kind of work in a cohesive sort of like story, I think is really wonderful.
Mm-hmm. I did find that some of like, again, I love the story, but the older I get, the more I'm kind of like, you know, this idea where you've kind of got these rival kid gangs that are trying to find this dead body in order to become famous and get in the newspaper. I mean, apparently this idea of like wanting to be famous and, you know, be an influencer has gone, it goes way back to the days of actual printed newspapers. And like the things that people will go through in order for, you know, their 15 minutes to notoriety or whatever. So I just didn't find it believable that they'd be like, we're gonna find this dead body. And then it was like, I remember like the this climactic moment where like the older gang shows up and they're like, you're not gonna get this dead body from us. And
Yes.
you know, like no one's gonna get it or whatever. And it felt weird to me.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. But I suppose like, when this is set, what, 50s?
59.
I think mid-50s-ish, 59. Yeah. And it's like that sort of crux point where like society's really kind of like changing and evolving rapidly. And these kind of kids are kind of like looking, like, even the older boys, like, I mean, older young men, I suppose.
Yeah, the older teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah, older teenagers, in theory, who all look like they're 25.
Because they
like,
are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, driving around a car, playing, mailbox baseball and things like that. It's just people, they're in that crux point where they're like, well, what? We have this free time.
Yeah, what do we do with it?
Children don't work anymore. So, like, what do we do?
Did anybody ever play mailbox baseball with your mailbox?
So, we don't have mailboxes in this country. They're just not a thing.
Okay. It happened to us.
Yeah. Really? I'm not surprised.
And, like, our mailbox was, like, a cute little, like... It looked like a tiny version of our house. Like, someone worked hard on it.
Oh, like, no. Was it wood?
Yeah. It looked like it was painted the same color. It had little shingles. And someone totally hit it with a baseball bat. My dad was...
And just destroyed it, I presume?
My dad was so fucking pissed. Yeah, so anyways, that's just a good, but like good on you, Andy. That was a good summation of like that group of people. You're like mailbox baseball, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what they are.
It's just people who haven't figured out what to like do with their time.
Constructively.
I just have to say, it's like right after the war, like everything's changing. Things are kind of like, especially in America, things are kind of like progressing so quickly. It's a tumultuous time.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so synopsis, even though we've already basically told you everything, but you've already seen it because we told you last week what we were watching, and you were like, I want to be sad again. So a writer recounts a childhood journey with his friends to view the body of a boy who went missing in the woods. And that's it.
That's it.
But like little things I appreciate, like the Jerry O'Connell who plays Vern, in his rounder days. Sorry, he's like super buff and gorgeous now, so it's just nice that like, someday you'll be a swan or whatever happens to people. But this idea that like he had a jar of pennies and he had a treasure map for the pennies and he buried the pennies under the front stoop, and he's like, then he lost the treasure map, so he's just like down there digging holes all the time. Like those are the little things that are in this story that I appreciate and make you feel like you're like there.
Yes.
And like the characters are real, and like, singing to each other, the treehouse and the secret knock. Like there's all this stuff from childhood that I felt, maybe I didn't have that exact experience, but I wish I did.
It's things that suggest like a world outside the movie.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like I think that is something that has, I think, got lost with a lot of like modern films, whereas it feels like, there is other stuff going on. We're kind of like we're kind of seeing part of their lives rather than just this kind of like encapsulated story, and I think that's pretty great. And I think that's, as I say, I think that was one of the things I kind of had a problem with Masters of the Universe, in that like it all felt brand new. Like it felt like when Skeletor attacked them, it was like, well, who's this guy? We've never seen him before. And it's like, wait, what? Why is that the case? But so this movie was directed by Rob Reiner, and very famous actor, director, and kind of political activist. He has like, he worked in so many different genres, like in terms of like movie making, like including documentaries and things like that, and also famously a mockumentary as well. he's the son of like another famous
Carl Reiner.
Carl Reiner, yeah. It was like he was definitely an actor and a comedian.
Yeah.
I don't think he was he a director too? Probably he was.
Like he's like old guard, so probably he did all the things.
In the why have I forgotten his name? In Mel Brooks' autobiography that I read recently.
Did you finish it?
I did. Yeah, it was very good. I must give it to you when you're over, actually, if you want to read it.
I mean, I tried, and I just...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I stopped. I don't know why.
It was a little bit... I think I told you, like, it was a little bit, like, self-congratulatory. I wish it kind of, like, talked a little bit more about his personal life, but it was just, like, movies he done. And I enjoyed it, but, like, I was not... it wasn't, like, a real praise turn or anything like that.
He was married to Mrs. Robinson from The Graduate. Like,
yes.
I'm like, talk about that. Let's get into that a little bit.
Yes, it's true.
So, I felt a little bit, I wanted to know. I want to, me, I like nitty gritty. So. Yeah.
But it feels like him and Carl Reiner kind of came up at the same time together. They did that kind of radio or, it was a radio show, or like it ended up like being put in a record and things like that of like, with the 2,000-year-old man or something like that.
I don't remember.
Something like that. Anyway. So, like, they came up together, and, as I say, Carl Reiner had an enormously, successful career as well. Then, like, Rob kind of followed in his footsteps in a lot of ways. But lent, I think, probably more into the directing than anything else. He has, obviously, many awards, but no Oscars. What an absolute disgrace.
Seriously?
Yeah.
None?
I mean, like, I don't like the fact that the Oscars are the pinnacle of, awards in that way, but, like, it still does feel kind of rude when certain people don't get them, and not even an honourable, or what do they call them, like, they do Oscars that are, like,
Lifetime Achievement.
Lifetime Achievement Oscars, yeah.
I was like, what is, I couldn't remember.
I think like Glenn Close got one this year, which is fair. She should have.
Yeah, Bunny Boiler. I mean, that's what Claudia was. Never mind. That's what Claudia was saying about your situation. Okay, so.
Oh yeah, there we go. Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Okay, so the story obviously was written by Stephen King. So he's done a lot, and maybe a lot of people don't know this. Some horror, some not horror. He was the one that wrote The Shawshank Redemption, which was also a short story with a different title. Running Man, the amazing Cujo, which I think we should do a rewatch of. The Life of Chuck, which came out a couple years ago, and then the most horrifying movie ever, Pet Sematary. So he's versatile. But
I've not seen. We could even do a Stephen King season, because I've seen neither Cujo nor Pet Sematary. I haven't seen either.
I don't know if I could rewatch Pet Sematary. Really? I know we should do some horror, but like, it was so scary.
I mean,
I was like running out of the room, and it was like the first horror movie that I ever watched at like a sleepover, and it was, it was really scary.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
we for Halloween we could maybe do a Stephen King season. That might be quite good for a change this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay. So also written by Bruce Evans and Reynold Gideon. The two of them seem to they work together a lot. So Mr. Brooks, Starman, and do you remember the movie Cutthroat Island with Gina Davis? Mm-hmm. And it was like, they touted it. It had a huge budget, and it was just kind of like one of those. Everyone's like, it's going to be a total blockbuster, and it wasn't. And they were so shocked and surprised. And then she was like, "Whatever, guys, I'm going to go become an archer and win a gold medal in the Olympics."
Oh, yeah, she represented like the U.S. or something.
Yes,
didn't she?
She's like one of the coolest chicks ever.
Yeah, no, she's right.
And I think she's back on the screen, which is a good thing. So so the film was adapted by the novella. It was originally called The Body. So basically, like, Bruce Evans sent a copy of the book to Karen Gideon, who's Reynold Gideon's wife. None of this really matters, but everybody knows everybody. As a gift for her birthday, they both became fans of the short story, and then they were like, all right, Stephen King, we need to make this into something. So they got the film rights, and they got Reiner to direct after. There's a lot of information. Like, these scripts get kicked around so long and so far in so many directions that, again, it's amazing that any movies get made, let alone so many shitty ones. This is not one of those. This is a good one. But it's just like, it's like reading the Bible sometimes. It's like this begat this went to this person. They were like, I don't know. And then they had to bow out. And then it went over to there. And then it was like in production for 5 years. And you're just like, oh my God. So I skipped that part. But so Reiner discussed in a 2011 interview his realization that the film should actually focus on the character of Gordy, and that's the Will Wheaton character, and that's when it all like solidified for him and for everybody else. So he said in the book it was about 4 boys, but once I made it about Gordy, the central focus of the piece, then it made sense to me. The movie was all about a kid who didn't feel good about himself and whose father didn't love him. And through the experience of going to find a dead body and his friendship with these boys, he began to feel empowered and went on to become a very successful writer. He basically became Stephen King. So,
fascinating. Yeah, it makes sense. Like it really does feel like a very kind of self-insert character.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as is the case for a lot of writers, one of the things, and I just wanted to look it up to confirm it, right? Because you're talking about like scripts getting kicked about and, what happens and what could have been and things like that. So, do you remember the Brendan Fraser movie that came out a few years ago, The Whale? Yes. It's with Darren Aronofsky.
Yes.
So
I watched it like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I have zero interest in watching that film, to be honest with you. I heard... Nobody who's seen it is like, you need to see The Whale. It's kind of like, yeah, it was okay. Is the kind of best case scenario. It's
really sad.
Yes, so...
But it brought us Brendan Fraser back. And now he's going to...
Yes,
he's working out with The Rock, and they're going to start making mummy movies again, so...
Hell yeah. But anyway, so for a while, the Whale script was kicking around for a while, and for a while, James Corden was going to be the Whale. Yes. Directed by Tom Ford. Was the original plan for that, which is just such an insane thing to consider.
Wow.
But yeah.
I don't know if it would have had the same impact.
I don't know. Like even if the current Whale is not great, that version would have been worse. I think.
Right.
Okay. So Betty Bates. I don't think it's the first. It's the first time I've used that title.
Betty Bates.
Bandy Bates.
Oh, okay.
Are we adding a new feature? Down for this. No, I don't think so. Like, I think I've just written it down and I've never said it, but apparently I'm just reading things now without thinking about it. Right, it's fine. Okay, it's our music section. We're going to talk about the music for the film. So the music for this film was done by Jack Nietzsche. It was like mostly a kind of like a collection of songs from the 50s and 60s, like a nostalgic kind of collection from back then. Jack Nietzsche was an American musician, arranger, songwriter, composer, and record producer. He was Phil Spector's right-hand man. He worked with him on the Wall of Sound stuff, like including obvious... Yeah, right. He worked on, River Deep, Mountain High and things like that. He also worked with, like, many kind of bands and other recording artists, including, like, Neil Young and the Rolling Stones. But the coolest thing, I think, well, I don't want to diminish... incredible achievements. He wrote many sort of like, he's another guy who's a great Wikipedia deep dive because he has done so much and like he's been responsible for writing and recording many kind of cool songs, but he is related to Friedrich Nietzsche.
I was gonna say like we pronounce it differently, but Nietzsche. I don't know.
Yeah, I was the same. I was looking at it, I was like, I think it's Nietzsche, but like, whatever. You understand what I'm saying, and that's all that matters.
That's amazing.
So yeah. So he's another one that's like kind of... He does have an Academy Award for Up Where We Belong. You eagles fly The mountain high.
Let's
Dun, 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 dun,
we
dun,
belong. You're
Yeah.
welcome, everyone. Okay,
Yeah.
submit us for Grammy nomination.
Exactly, please.
For Bendy Beats, which I think you should
Yeah.
keep that for our music
Okay,
section.
all right.
I like it very much.
All right. Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna admit something from my childhood. I didn't really have any. I lived in a town with 500 people, so I really didn't have any friends. So he's talking. This whole story is like, these 4 boys. They're all coming from different families. Every family has their own familial issues, and they're there to support each other through the hard things, and and also it's kind of, they're at the age where they start drifting in different directions, and they're gonna either write or then become people that hit mailboxes with baseball bats someday.
Sure.
So, but it's like Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, Jerry O'Connor, and like I'm kind of lumping Kiefer Sutherland into this as Ace Merrill, the gang leader, just because he steals the movie a little bit in a good way. But like I lived in a place that looked like this movie. I think you did too. It was probably just colder.
Yeah.
I do believe the world that they created. I just didn't have any friends. So like that idea of these like close bonds, I had my sister and that was it. Which wasn't bad. Like we did all the same stuff, not necessarily like dead bodies, but like, like dynamite boxes and like, do those bulldozers that are parked here have keys or not, right? Like getting into the good kind of trouble. And we had free reign to do that. So like, but I also didn't have those friendships.
Yeah.
Did you?
Like how old would they have been? Yeah, I think that
they were like 12.
I feel like probably that was a time of change for me because, a lot of like my friends in like, because we have primary school and like high school and like that change happens at about 11 or 12. So a lot of my friends in that school didn't actually end up going to my school. So like I didn't really have anybody I was kind of close with. So it was all about like kind of making new friends and things like that. And I did, like, in the first couple of years, I especially 1 or 2 people I became really close with. So yeah, I think I did. But like, it's a different time in terms of it was like, for me, it was like, rather than going on adventures looking for dead bodies, it was like, who has the coolest video game console
totally.
I can...
Same. It's like, I'm going to go over to Christina's house because she's got, like an in-house video game console. Not one that you have to go to the pizza place to play and just keep pumping in quarters.
Exactly. I don't have the money for
that. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious. And, it was a different time. They do a lot of stuff where I'm just like, I would never, like, if my kids disappeared for 2 nights, that would be an issue.
The helicopter
just like playing with a gun in the back alley and it going off and they're like, tee-hee, so funny. Like, no, no thank you. Yeah, so definitely just like, going swimming and like leeches and, things are just different.
Yeah. No, they really are, and I think that like it's one of the things that there's very much this kind of wistful kind of nature I think in people generally like the good old days, and it's like there was some good things about them, there's some bad things about them. Progress happens for a reason a lot of the time. I
guess you're right. That's what's cool about this is that he doesn't sugarcoat it. He doesn't like there's like this one scene that's funny and it's he's telling, they're like at the campfire and he's telling them the story that he made up about like this big barforama that happens at a pie eating contest, and it's like the way that they shot that like had that kind of like glossy kid, like Masters of the Universe, so out there, so funny, so crazy. And I appreciated like that they put that in so that you could also see that like, no, like what these kids are going through is really hard. They're, it's like coming of age. What is friendship?
Yeah. I think it was like much more like stylized. That sort of the pie eating contest was like heightened in a sort of like way. Yeah, but that's a good distinction. It really is. Yeah.
Also, like lots of loss and grief in this. His dead
absolutely.
brother. The Corey Feldman character whose dad like burned his ear off. Like, just like you're just like, oh, ooh, like, they're good friends, but shit's fucked.
That stuff hits hard. Yeah, it really is fucked. It really is. Interesting. Like, I think that I think that is what makes this really good, in that like it really is warts and all. Like it does give you a hit of nostalgia, but it is not like fully sentimental. It's not fully like the rose tinted glasses. Do you remember the days? I mean, like, it does like it does like you really espouse the virtues of having a group of good friends as a kid and how meaningful they can be, and I think it really does a wonderful job with that. But like, yeah, it's the full gamut of stuff there,
And I have a friend visiting right now, and I was talking to her about this because I watched it yesterday, and she kind of wandered in and out. But I was like, this idea of like childhood friendships and like them, his character like at the very end is like, I don't have friends that I had when, as good of friendships as I had when I was 12, but like Jesus does anyone. And I was like, that's like saying I peaked in high school for me. Like I really feel like my friendships now are the ones I want to have, and I don't look back at my childhood friendships. Obviously, like, I'm so grateful I had my sister, and like she's still my sister and we're still besties, and that's wonderful. But I'm grateful for the adult friendships that I have, like the fact that you and I get on here and talk about Masters of the Universe because we're such adults.
Of course, naturally, very much so. I absolutely, and I think that like it's no, I think it's good. Like, and I think I think that probably is, the secret of Stephen King's success in a lot of ways as well, because he really doesn't like, he's interested in the whole of the thing rather than just the kind of fun sort of light story side of it.
Have you read The Eyes of the Dragon?
I have not.
Okay, I'm gonna bring it for you.
I've not read a ton of Stephen King. I'm not going to get into my position on Stephen King now. It's too late into the pod. Another time we'll save it.
Okay. We'll come back to him. Okay, do you want to know some fun facts?
Absolutely.
So after director Rob Reiner screened the movie for Stephen King, some of these like make me want to cry, much like this movie. So after Rob Reiner screened the movie for Stephen King, he noticed that King was visibly shaking and wasn't speaking. He left the room and upon his return told Reiner that the movie was the best adaptation of his work he had ever seen.
Nice. And he's somebody who's critical of adaptations of his work as
Absolutely. I mean, have you seen Christine? Anyways.
I haven't actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, the killer car. Ah.
Yeah, I know what it is. It's just another one I haven't seen.
Yeah, I think we need to do a deep dive into Stephen King. Having read every single one of his books up until like the Tall Towers or whatever. Okay, anyways. Kiefer Sutherland claimed in an interview in one of the locations of the film, a Renaissance fair was being held and the cast and crew attended and bought some cookies. Sorry. Unfortunately, these cookies turned out to be laced with pot. And 2 hours later, the crew found Jerry O'Connell high and crying somewhere in the park. So I'm going to do a deeper dive into that and see if I can find any interviews of Jerry O'Connell commenting on that. Okay, in the campfire scene when Chris breaks down, Rob Reiner was sure River Phoenix could do better. He asked him to think of a time in his own life when an adult let him down and used it in the scene, which Phoenix did. Upset and crying, he had to be comforted by the director afterwards. The result of Phoenix's exercise is the scene that ended up in the final cut of the movie. R.I.P. River Phoenix. Like,
Yep.
so good that people, like, still write about him, still talk about him, still miss him.
Yep.
So, okay.
He's
Yeah,
pretty fantastic.
I know.
Like, you know, he really
He was really
yeah,
good in this.
A real talent, yeah.
In an interview by Stephen King, in which the special features section of the DVD, do you remember those days? So good. He reveals that the scene with the leeches, which is straight from his short story, they call it novella, actually did happen to him when he was a child. Ha-ha!
Oh, really?
Yes! I don't know, like, at what parts of his body, because, like, he ends up with a leech in his underwear and, like, passes out, but, yeah, so I don't know if that's true or not. Anyways, Rob Reiner considered this the best film he ever made.
Interesting.
The character Ray Bauer, the dead body, appears alive and well during the lard-ass pie eating contest scene. He can be seen standing behind the twins, which I appreciated. At the insistence of director Rob Reiner, an avid non-smoker who campaigned for anti-smoking laws in California, the cigarettes smoked by the boys were made from lettuce leaves. Which I don't know if that's any better to smoke than cigarettes, probably, but yeah, good job, Rob Reiner, for taking care of the kids.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Nice, that's
this
nice.
I read before I watched the movie, and because I've been doing a little bit of Rob Reiner deep diving in general. So according to Kiefer Sutherland, who is just a fountain of information about this movie, which I appreciate, the title of the film, Change from the Body, may have come from an interaction he had with director Rob Reiner while he and River Phoenix were playing the guitar together. Phoenix began learning to play the instrument, and Sutherland began playing the melody from Stand By Me on a whim, prompting Phoenix to remark that he loved the song's melody. Sutherland began to teach Phoenix the tune on the guitar, at which point Reiner walked by and commented that he loved that song as well. The original Ben E. King recording of the song is used in the end credits, and the music video featuring Phoenix, who is shown singing along and playing the guitar alongside co-star Will Wheaton, was also filmed, which I didn't know. So,
I didn't know either.
That is why they named it Stand By Me.
Nice. Yes. Okay. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So it didn't. Okay. What was the Stephen King?
The Body, and everyone was like, "It sounds like a porn." So.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. Interesting. Nice. Do you have any other facts for us, or shall we get to our final few sections?
Final few sections.
Sweet. All right. So, too legit to fit. Who had the best outfits in the movie? I think easily for me, it's Ace the bully.
Yeah.
So it's Kiefer Sutherland's character. Yeah. He was kind of a jerk, but he had some great outfits, and he also had a flick knife, which is the essential, I think, 1950s accessory.
Mike has a flick knife.
Really?
And sometimes he'll pull it out, and I'm like, yeah, I know you can flick the knife. That's cool. Put it away. We have children.
There is something deeply raw.
Is there a dog behind you?
I think. There's a dog behind me. She's being noisy.
Okay. Is that your dog or a different dog?
It's my dog.
Okay.
It's my dog.
She looked black, and I was like, is that
it's our sash. I think you're just seeing her top, which is her
booty.
Her booty, yeah, her black booty. Okay, so Andy's Animal Acting Award for excellence in animal acting has to go to Chopper, the junkyard dog.
Sick balls.
Yeah, right. Sick balls.
Sick
indeed.
balls, Chopper.
But I think we need to give an honourable mention to the leeches.
I was gonna say, they did an excellent job of being scary.
I mean, Chopper takes the big prize, but the leeches a very scary moment, and for
I just appreciated the way they talked up Chopper, and they're like, "Oh, he's terrifying," and then they like see Chopper, and he's like this adorable like golden retriever, and he's like trying to like rip their clothes, but is also like just wants to kind of like be pet and is laying on the next to the fence, and I was like, "Oh, Chopper!" Like, and the point was. Like, things aren't as scary, maybe, as we make them out to be in our imaginations. And then I'm like, you guys are going to find a dead fucking body. Like, that's I don't know. Andy, would you do that?
Would I go to find a dead body?
Yeah, if your friends were like,
no,
you're a little
I don't
kid,
think so.
They're like, oh my God, there's a dead body.
No.
Like, you should go find it. Be in the paper.
Too much of a pussy then, too much of a pussy now, so no.
I don't know if I would or not. Like, I was like, I don't know. I was a wild thing back then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, who knows? Like, I just don't think it would be super appealing to me. Like, it's interesting because as I was like watching this, I was like, still don't think I've ever seen a dead body because, like, you know, even the times whenever, because they're like open caskets and stuff like that aren't really a thing in funerals here. The only person I think I really had the opportunity to see in their casket was my grandmother before she went to the church for the
funeral.
What's the word, like, for the funeral itself, and I just didn't want to see her like that because I wanted to remember her, you know, as the person I knew, you know.
Yeah. It's an odd thing.
It is, yeah. No, I'm sure it is. I don't. So I'm no rush.
Please
okay.
no. I'm in no rush.
Okay,
I'm in no rush. Yeah.
No rush to see a dead body. Okay, Beth.
Yes.
So for Stand By Me, would you revisit, remember, refuse, or redo?
You know, I remembered it being, I don't know. I remember it being more funny and fun than it was. But maybe I'm just older and like things hit me harder and I understand things on a deeper level. But I probably haven't seen this in like 15 years, 20 years. And it was definitely like, it hit hard, it hurt. The things that they were dealing with and being so young is just like, God, like, I can't believe how resilient we are as human beings that we go through things at that age, and we all do, right? And still like come through it. Oh, not always okay, but like, you know, persevering. So I would say it's always worth a revisit. It's just interesting that like I don't feel I'm not like, oh God, I gotta like watch that again in a year. Like I want to revisit it maybe when I'm like 90.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where I landed as well, was a remember. Like, in its fever, I was like, I switched it on, it was like, oh baby, under 90 minutes? Oh yeah, my favourite, this rocks.
I bet it felt longer than that.
Yeah, and I was like, and while I had a nice time with it, I was kind of like, it wasn't fully engaging me, and although, so I think I landed and remember as well. You know, I have fond memories of watching it when I was younger, but like, it's not something I will be in a hurry to revisit, I don't think.
Yeah, same. So I would say probably remember, but I'm glad I revisited it.
Absolutely. But also like 40 years old this year as well, that movie.
They're on tour.
Wow.
Are they really? The remaining cast, they're walking the walk, and they're doing screenings, and they're all together, and that makes me happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So Beth, what has been bringing you joy this week?
I figured out what my DJ, not necessarily name, but like what my, every DJ's got like a thing. Like I wear a marshmallow in my head, or I don't know what I'll wear in my head. But I'm going to only take requests. I'm going to be that DJ where people are like, hey, I've got this song. I want you to play it. I'm going to be like, okay. And that's all I'll do is only take requests. Because we were having a dance party in the kitchen last night. And I was like, I'm only taking requests. Like, and so it was just like a cacophony of crazy mismatched songs. And like, at least for 3 minutes, one of us was having the best time ever. Getting to hear the song that we really wanted to hear, and I was like, "This is a genre that no one is doing, and I should step into that."
That's interesting. I would be interested to see how that would like translate to a club setting, especially because I know some people like you know, somebody who like a friend of mine who or friends of mine who've been DJs say that people request the most insane shit.
Yeah.
Like just in terms of like what you're trying to do, which is like something that everybody's going to want to get up and dance to, and people just suggesting stuff that's like, this is not that at
There's the
all.
reason there's like the one wedding playlist that, you know, celebrate good.
Yeah.
It's like every song, you know, is there's like, yeah, anyways. Also, there's on Apple TV, for those that have Apple TV or, you know, whatever, there's a show, it's called Widow's Bay. I'm watching it, I'm really, really digging it. It's bringing me some joy.
I've been wanting to check it out.
I recommend it, and it's like, the character, it's, you got to listen to every word because they're sliding in jokes and references, and it's like, that's my jam. So it's being forced to actually pay attention because what I'm watching is so good.
Yes, no, I've heard it's great, and I will check it out. It actually reminds me, I finished the Lowdown since I saw you last, and it is fucking superb. Okay. Really make because it's just Ethan Hawke at his finest. Like so many of our guys are in there. Okay. Keith David, you know, Kyle MacLachlan. It's really good, and just like the dialogue's fantastic, and I think structurally as a story it works really well, but it really takes some really interesting twists and turns. Like some characters that are established earlier, you're like, this guy's going to be really important, and then doesn't turn out to be. It's very interesting.
I wrote it on the paper.
Yeah,
and I also I also recommended to my nephew Mixtape. And he's like, he's very honest. He's like, I didn't read good reviews, but I will try it because Andy said so. So he's going to give it a go. And I'm going to do it.
It was one of these ones that has either people are like
Love
game
it.
of the year or it's absolute trash. And I think there's a little bit of like, I can kind of understand why people don't like it because it's not like, there's not a lot of gameplay. So a lot of like people were really bitching about the fact that there wasn't a lot of gameplay in it. And I was like, how can this call itself a game? And I hate that sort of criticism, honestly. I think it's, you know, games can be many different things, and I think it is definitely a video game. Anyway. Rant over. Talking about video games, what has been bringing me joy is I finally finished a game that I have been like, has been in my backlog for like 4 years. It's called Disco Elysium. And I'll not talk too much about it because like I could talk about it all day. It's just such a fascinating game. It's essentially like an RPG. It's kind of like an alternative reality. You wake up as you're this like cop who's had who has like done so much drugs and drink over the past like week that you have woke up and you've completely lost your entire memory. There is a man who's been hanged in the backyard of the place that you're staying, and you're here to investigate this murder, but you've just like
you've shattered.
You've destroyed yourself. So you're having this like all these like internal monologue conversations and things like that, and like your brain is suggesting stuff to you that you know you can kind of go no, or you can kind of agree with. It's like nothing else I've played. It's fascinating. The script's incredible. It's so funny. Just as a small sort of like slice of what it is, like it gets quite serious and heavy at times, but it's also very funny. But like you have a health meter and you have a morale meter. So I once died in this game by losing my last chunk of morale by trying to improvise some poetry and feeling so badly. I died of shame.
Wow. So wait.
Yeah, it rocked.
Okay. It's kind of, so it's got a little bit of the old.
You know what it's most like? Do you remember like Monkey Island and those old sort of like LucasArts sort of? It's close to that. It's its own thing in a lot of ways, but it's in that area. But it's wonderful. It's another one that you might quite enjoy. But like it's wild. It's like it's completely wild. It's a very cool game, and I'm glad I finally made time for it. So yeah, it's Disco Elysium. So
great title too.
Right. Next week, we are watching Dazed and Confused.
Yay! Sorry.
So excited. Really I'm so looking forward to revisiting Dazed and Confused. All right, Beth. Can you tell everybody where they can find us?
You can find us at movietestofTime.com. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I just appreciate them. I need to check our email. Yeah. But sorry if I haven't checked email. But thank you, everyone, for your messages. And suggestions, and I'm writing them all down, and we're here to. It's been a fun week just chatting with people about movies on the platform. So thank you for engaging. Usually it's always me because Andy can't handle social media. So I will get him messages. You can make fun of him, and I will make sure he hears it. So
I only hear the ones that won't destroy my friends.
Right. Yeah. Die of shame.
Exactly. All right.
So funny.
Right. So we've reached the end of this week's episode, everybody. And as always, we like to say goodbye to our youthful and meandering fans. Bye.
Bye. Love you guys. Bye.
We love you. Bye.